All right. So today I'm talking about, welcome to MindShift Mondays. I am Fatima Bey, the MindShifter. And today I am going to talk about friendships. Now, please comment and ask questions in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. But we're going to talk about friendships. And no, I'm not just going to talk about the common, everyday, boring surface stuff that everybody already talks about. It's a common topic, but I'm going to talk about it in an uncommon way. And this is here to shift your thinking. I'm here to shift your thinking on this topic. So if you're willing, I will shift your thinking on this. So let's talk about friends. What are friends? In this context, friends are the people you choose to surround yourself with in your personal life. I'm just going to leave the definition there. It's very broad, but they all have the same result in your life. They all do the same thing. So your friends, your quote unquote friends, are the people you choose to surround yourself with in any capacity. So why am I talking about friends? Because who you surround yourself with affects your life in a major way. Good or bad, whoever you're around, they are affecting you. Just like if you walk into, you work at McDonald's all day, you're going to come home smelling like fries. You work at a restaurant, you're going to come home smelling like whatever the food is there because that's what's around you. You're going to smell like whoever's in your life. So if you got miserable, negative people in your life, guess what you're going to smell like? And it'll end up on you too. So I want to show you something. There are different levels of friends. So I have my lovely, there we go. That's where I had it. My lovely little graph here. Yes, it's handwritten. Isn't it beautiful? Now, if you look at this, this is you. You are in the middle. This green circle right here are your close friends. This blue circle around here are your somewhat close friends. So your close friends are the people that you can share anything with. They're the closest people to you. The first people you go to for advice. These are your close friends. Your somewhat close friends are the people. They may not be the first person you go to. They might be the second. They do come to your house. They hang out with you sometimes, but you're not as close as the ones that you have in this circle. And then you have everyone else that falls into this red circle. These are acquaintances. You might hang out with them at parties. You might see them here and there. They're not necessarily your close friends. They don't have the biggest influence on you. They don't really make a giant difference in your life, but you might hang out with them once in a while. We're calling them acquaintances. These are very much generalities. But what I want to point out, if you notice, this green circle right here is the smallest and thinnest circle. Because your close friends should be that small. You should not have a lot of close friends. If you do, if you have a lot of close friends, number one, you are not wise. Number two, you probably have a lot of fake people in your life and you don't recognize it. Not good. But your friendships, your close friends should be small because it's not wise to have a lot of people who know all the information. It's not wise to have a lot of people who have influence on your life like that because they're all going to think different things and have different thoughts. And they can take you on an emotional roller coaster even though that's not their goal. So, your friend circle is critical to who you are and who you're becoming. You know, there's an old saying, I don't remember where it came from, but show me your friends and I'll show you where you're going. That is 100% true 100% of the time. So no matter who you are, who you surround yourself with is affecting you right now because it's affecting where you're going. It affects your thoughts because every time they talk, the people around you, they're speaking life or speaking death over you. They are planting thought seeds in your head. You think that doesn't have an influence on you? Oh, it does. Now, for your friend circle, your close friends, those are the ones you need to be the choosiest with. Even your somewhat close friends, you need to be picky with them too because they still have an influence. And your close friends may or may not be relatives. They may or may not be family. They may be someone you grew up with. They might not be. It doesn't matter if they're related to you or not, or how you met them. They're the people that you keep around you. They're the people that influence you. I want to talk to you about what to stay away from when it comes to friends. When it comes to your close friends, but really when it comes to all friends. There's two major things that are giant red flags. Red flags, do not paint them pink. See them as the red flags that they are and move on. Separate yourself. Number one, gossip. People who gossip, they're talking about you too, I promise you. If they gossip, you are not separate from their gossip. What they do is they'll say, don't tell nobody I told you this, but, and then your information comes out their mouths. When you see people doing that, run, and I mean run far. These are the people that cause drama. These are the people that sometimes don't want drama, but they cause it. Run far freaking away. You don't want those people. There's more than two people to look for. But those people should not be in your close circle because you can't trust them with your information. Gossips are 100% bad. And I don't care if I'm talking about you. People should run from you if you're a gossip. You're like, oh, my friend, she just gossips too much. That's a red flag right there. That tells me that you're not wise in who you have around you. Who you have around you also tells us how wise or how unwise you are. Do you know that? So if I look around you and see a bunch of shallow gossips, then I'm not going to be hanging around you too much or telling you my information because you're not far from them. Birds of a feather do flock together. It's the truth. Another thing to look for. See, here's the thing. I'm going to back up a little bit. When it comes to friendships, very often, and I would say surroundings, not just friendships, but surroundings. Very often we look at details and we miss the principle. We miss character. What you have to look for is character. Gossips are dishonest. That's the core of who they are when they're gossiping. They're dishonest. They're not being honest with the problem. They're talking about the person instead. If you really wanted to solve a problem for someone, you'd have a conversation with them. Or maybe you'd say, look, you go to someone, you might go to someone with their information, but only because you're like, I have this issue with this person, and you're looking for guidance. How should I handle this? That's different. I get a lot of that. That's not gossip. When you're talking about everybody else and there's no solution in your mouth, it's for the most part gossip. The other main thing is selfish people. These are principles that you want to look for in people. The details of how these manifest are going to be different. So selfish people will 100% of the time wreak some kind of havoc in your life. 100% of the time. When people are, they're just selfish. Everything they do is about them. They're constantly putting themselves above others. I don't mean having selfish moments, because we all do that. I mean, they live selfishly as a lifestyle. Run. If you have this person as your close friend, I would question how selfish you are too. Yeah. When a person is that selfish, run. They will inevitably, at some point in time, they will make a decision that is selfish, that is harm to you. That is 100% of the true. Those are two main things. There are other things, but everything else that I can think of branches off of those two things. The same people who are gossips are also the same people that I was talking about last week. They're often, not always, but often the same people that will be jealous. And you want to keep those people away because they will try to sabotage you eventually, one way or another. Sabotage your relationships, whatever. Now, let's talk about what to look for in your close friendships. You want to look for people that are the opposite of those two things. Can you trust what you tell them? It doesn't mean that they have the answers to all your problems. Everybody's not going to have all the answers to all your problems. It doesn't mean that they can't be close friends. Everybody's not going to fulfill the same position in your life, and that's okay. Everybody's not going to be your advisor. Sometimes they can just be a listener. Sometimes they can just be there to pet you and soothe you and say everything's okay and you're beautiful, and that's all they can do. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to get advice from that person because they don't have it to give. You go to someone else for that. Again, nothing wrong with that. So you look for people who you can confide in that will keep your information. How do you know whether or not they will? Whose information do they tell you? Sometimes when people are like, well, I don't know if I want to say it. I'm like, you can trust me. And I'm like, if they're not sure if they can say something I want to trust, I'm like, okay, so how many times have I told you other people's information? And they go, oh, you're right. Because I don't. And sometimes it makes people mad because I won't share other people's information. But when you're looking at someone and they don't share information about other people, they might be worth trusting. Another characteristic to look for in your close friend circle is people who are not selfish all the time. They have selfish moments. We all do. We're human. I'm not talking about that. I mean, they don't live a lifestyle of selfishness. You see them giving, even if it's a small thing, even if it's in a small way, you see them giving to other people. It could be money. It could be their time. It could be their advice. It could be whatever. It could be their clothes. It could be food. If they are giving to others in some kind of way, sometimes they might be worth keeping around. There are many other characteristics to look for, but number one, I would say, is actually honesty. Because if they're lying to everybody else, trust me, they're lying to you too. You want to make sure that you are keeping people around you that you can trust. I'm sorry, but if you're a liar, I don't mean you lied about one little thing and here and there. I mean, you lie regularly. Why the hell should anybody trust you? Get out of my face. Bye. Don't even get near me. You cannot be trusted. You're not even grown up enough to be honest. So you should go hang out with the children because you still think like one. I'm just being honest and real. If you are constantly lying, you are still thinking like a child because you don't realize you haven't yet grown to maturity enough to recognize how bad it is for you and the damage that it does and how little it does for you. So I want you to think about, I'm not going to be on long today, so I want you to think about what it is, who it is that you have around you. And if you look at who you have around you, it says where you're headed. Now I want to give you some examples that you could think about. What are your goals in life? I want you to think about that. If you have none, that's already the problem. Pick a goal. It could be small, it could be big. So let's say my goal is to be a millionaire. Why are you hanging around with a bunch of poor people? For real. Doesn't mean you can't have poor people around you and they're not worth having around. What I'm saying is that you need to have some people in your life who are where you want to be, whether that's money, whether it's career-wise, whether it's relationship-wise. Let's stop on relationship for a minute. If you want to have a healthy relationship, why do you have a bunch of miserable single people hanging around you? You are not going to have a healthy relationship, I promise you. Because your influences are people who aren't where you want to be. I promise you, you're not. Because they're influencing your thoughts. And that influences your actions, which influence your relationship. If you want to know, if you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, and many of you don't because you didn't have it modeled before you, that's okay. Find someone who has one. Now, to clarify, a healthy relationship doesn't mean perfect. Doesn't mean they don't argue. Doesn't mean they don't have problems. It means that there's respect, trust, and commitment. That's all you need for a healthy relationship. I didn't say a perfect relationship. Too often we think healthy means perfect. It does not. Those three foundational principal things are what's in every healthy relationship. There might be other things about the relationship that aren't great, but if they have those three things, they have a generally healthy relationship. They don't have an Olympic healthy relationship. Most people don't, and that's okay. If you want to be in a healthy relationship, then start hanging around with people who have them. What are they doing? How do they think? What do they do when they get in an argument? Do they compromise? You can learn all these things from being around them. And you want to be a millionaire. Well, how do millionaires think? What do they do with their money? How do they plan their days? I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so start hanging around with entrepreneurs. Whatever your goal is in life, hang around with those people who are where you want to be, because they will influence you, and they can influence you in a way to help you get there. So I'm going to end this, but I want you to think about what it is that you have around you. Who do you have around you? Not how much money do they have, and unless that's your goal. Not how much money do they have and how do they dress and what their social status is. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about character. Who's around you? Start giving them names. Well, this one's a liar. This one's honest and giving. This one gossips. This one is obsessed with herself. This one is mean and angry all the time. Whatever the characteristics of the people around you are. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw this graph for yourself. I'm going to give you some homework. Draw this circle graph for yourself, your friend circle, right? And I want you to put in your inner circle who those people are, the closest people to you that you can call and talk to about anything. And I want you to write down, what are the characteristics of these people? So your close friends and your somewhat close friends. Write them on a list and start writing down their characteristics. Not their name, not their social status, none of that. Start writing down their characteristics. Liar, encourager, listener, counselor, whatever. Advisor, whatever. Angry, happy, loving, always talking about sex, whatever it is. Write down those characteristics. And I promise you, if you do, you're going to see something. You might need to rearrange your friend circle. Some of you might not need to, because maybe you have great people around you. But I want to reiterate, your close friend circle should be no more than 5 people. There's rare exceptions. But unless you have like a really close group of 6 friends and you're all super close, that does happen, but it's rare. Your close friends should be extremely few people. The more people you have in it, the less wise you're demonstrating that you are. And the more problems you'll have, and the more backstabbing, the more opportunities for that. Speaking of which, when you have someone who's like, so-and-so is my best friend, so-and-so is my best friend, and they got 95 best friends, you silly. You don't have any best friends. You are a silly person. That tells me that you have no one genuinely close to you, or you don't know the difference between value and not valuable. Thank you, Abdul, for coming. It's good to see you. So I want you all to take what I said. And for those of you that just came in, you missed it, it'll be on my wall. You can watch it again. I don't make these long. They're all like less than a half hour. So try to keep it to that. I want you to think about who you have around you. Write that list out of their characteristics and see what you need to make a change to. If you don't make a change, it's because you don't want to grow. And that's up to you. That's your choice. But if you really want to grow and you want to be the best you can be and you want to grow as a person, you have to have people around you that are going to foster that and help you get there. And hanging around with the gossip, the liar, and the selfish one ain't going to get you there. So I hope you all got something from this today. And I'll see you next week for MindShift Mondays.